Hello, current clients, past clients, and future clients. I'm Rebecca Lindquist, the speech and accent coach in the Silicon Valley. And today I'd like to speak specifically to Chinese first language speakers. So whether you come from Hong Kong or Taiwan, Shanghai or Beijing, most Chinese speakers share common issues when speaking English. Now, you may think that you're fluent in English, and you may be, but many of my clients tell me that obtaining executive presence and being able to speak very fluidly is challenging when the first language is Chinese. So let's talk specifically about what Chinese speakers can do to show up differently. So the first thing I'd like to mention to you is the eye-hand connection. Do you notice when I'm talking to you that I'm engaging the eyes, and that also if I had an audience and I was going to move my hand, I might do what you see me doing here, which is where I'm looking at someone and holding for a count of probably 3, and then I'm switching and moving to someone else and holding perhaps to a count of 3 before I look back at you. The idea here is that the hand and the eye are connected, whereas many Chinese speakers tend to not move the hands at all, or to move them in this kind of a rapid fashion while not engaging the eyes. By engaging, I mean the eyes should light up, like you're excited about your topic. So the first thing is you need to have a hand-eye connection when speaking to your audience. The second thing you want to focus on is your breath. So before we talk about breathing, let's really ground through our feet, and I encourage you to do this with me. You line up your knees, toes, and hips. So basically you're sitting and your feet are lined up and pressing into the ground as your spine elongates. So it might look like this when you start, and then as you press into your feet, you see there's a subtle shift. As I get taller, my neck gets longer. This allows me to breathe better. For Chinese speakers, it's really important to open up the chest and make sure you've got a lot of breath so you can exhale as you speak. If you speak a tonal language, such as Chinese, you probably speak words in units. What I mean by that is you say each word. So people who speak Chinese tend to talk a bit like this, because each word is a unit. Instead of controlling for tone, can you sound out the word? What that sounds like is every sound gets a little bit of voice time. It's easier to see if you use a rubber band. So for example, when I say a word, you can hear each one of the different sounds. And in particular, when you hit an N or an L sound after a vowel, you want to watch, maybe take a mirror or do a video of yourself, and then watch yourself. So try saying a few words, and then record it and watch it later, and notice what happens with your tongue position and your jaw. So for example, if you said all of us, and you said the word all, record that, and then take a look and notice what's happening with your tongue. Many Chinese speakers will do something like all of us, and they're not really taking the tongue, lifting it, planting it behind the teeth like this. All of us. The same is true with the N. So if you said one last thing, when you said the word one in your video, if you're recording yourself, notice if you lift your tongue, so what you'll see is the underbelly of your tongue, and you'll actually see your frenulum. That's that little string you can see when you lift your tongue. So if you look in a mirror, you'll see, if you do this correctly, that the tongue lifts and plants behind the front teeth. One. So as long as you're doing those things, you'll be able to create a much more fluid speech that allows you to use your jaw. So it's the hand-eye connection and the breathing and posture so that your speech is fluid, and then record yourself so you can hear for challenge sounds like L's and N's that you're actually lifting the tongue, sounding out words so you're not speaking in short units, you're actually pronouncing every sound that exists in the word, and if you do that, you'll get more mouth movement. So those are some tips for Chinese speakers. If those tips aren't sufficient and you really want to create change, give me a call. I'd be happy to coach you.